How did you go from just owning, multi-unit houses to industrial real estate, basically?
Yeah, got you. So of course I kept doing that kind of cookie cutter program with the multifamily homes, right? And you build up equity, and then you start to build up all these things, right? The value increases, and then also at the same time, I took the extra money that I was saving and I put it in stocks. And I didn't put it in. I wasn't out there like, all right, today I'm gonna put it in. Tomorrow afternoon at
Mm-hmm.
7. I wasn't doing that. It was just long term. Set it and forget it. So I just
Yeah.
set it and forget it. And blue chip too. I wasn't buying no kind of, hey man, we just came out with this awesome technology where we can read the back of your face from the front. Like what? No, it was nothing like that.
That's funny. That's funny. I made that mistake when I got in the stock market. I started making some money, and I thought I knew what I was doing. And I these little meme stocks and junk. I was like, ooh, about to hop on that, about to catch that, about to ride this wave. And I didn't. No, they don't play that game. Don't play
No,
that
yeah,
game. Trust me,
don't play
you,
that.
you don't know what you're doing. The more you think you know what you're doing, the more you don't know what you're doing. Don't even play that
Exactly.
game.
Yeah,
Don't even play
don't
that
play
game.
that game.
The only
So I
only
bought.
thing I'll say, if you want to play that game, play it with a little small piece of money that you don't mind if you lose. That's the most, like,
Cool.
if you
But
must, that's the most.
don't do it because it's going to kill your confidence. What people do is when they take the L, they be like, man, I knew this stuff didn't work. I knew I had to work. I'm going to work for the rest of my life. And
Yeah, true. Yep. So
so
just don't do it. Just don't do it. How about it? We'll
when
just.
so I do like more dividends also. I did dividend stocks. So, stocks that were not volatile and it paid dividends. Because once you start seeing that, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting some change back. And you're like,
Mm,
wait, hold on, man. And so it becomes real to you now. You're like, what? When I had it sitting in the bank, they weren't doing nothing for me, right? But now that it's in the stock, I'm getting, whatever the dividend payment is, 5%, 6%, but it's better than nothing. And so I kind of just build it up that slowly. I really still got my stuff from the stocks. I wish I would have known about real estate like super earlier, right? But nevertheless, I continue to go down this path, yeah. And then as I continue to work, I continue to show money. My assets increased in, of course, worth and value. I did some value add strategies, which is just kind of like created more value for the property, like an extra bedroom, blah, blah, blah. So once that stuff started improving, I had more money and more money and more money. Then my net worth reached to a particular point, which was above 1 million. And then so once you get above 1 million, then you're accredited investor in the United States eyes, or you can make $200,000 for 2 consecutive years, or 300 if you have a partner for 2 consecutive years, and then they will deem you as an accredited investor. And so at that point, I was in Israel, and this is the biggest thing I would say. I wasn't like the guys that work with me, right? They all made 6 figures, right? We got all these guys working contract and working 6 figures, right? I was like, yo, we need to get together and make some real moves. And they was looking at me like, yeah, whatever, man. So so I was like, dang, man, ain't nobody want to rock with me, bro. Ain't nobody trying to make no, like get out of this rat race. And so I was like, dang. So then I was like, all right, bump this. So I went on a hunt. I was on Bigger Pockets. I was on Instagram. I was DMing Grant Gordon. I was DMing
damn.
everybody, bro. Yeah, I was like an Instagram chick, bro. I was DMing everybody. And so what had happened, and so it's funny because the guys next to me, they were swiping left and right on Tinder, but I was swiping left and right on lenders. I always drop that bar. So what I was doing, I was like, yo, I'm tired of sending 20 emojis, trying to figure out what to say to shorties, and I could do the same for lenders and have a return on my energy, a return on my time. You see what I'm saying? And the funny part is lenders, they're just people. You build good relationships, they'll go to war for you. So the lenders that I started reaching out to, they were like, man, you're the only person who actually care. Most people just get the loan and run off with the plug twice. And he's like, I like you, man. Anything you need, I got you. Any loan, blah, blah, blah. Anytime, any day. And then so I reached out to some partners. A guy was an investment banker. He worked in Israel. I was living in Israel. He's Jewish, so he was out there. And I was like, hey, look, I'm an American. I'm hungry. I did this on my own, and I'm looking for people I can add value for, and we can, collaborate and like-minded. So he was like, all right, man, let's have a lunch. Let's have coffee. No, that's what he said. So I worked 12 hours, woke up in the morning, Got 3 hours of sleep, met him at the beach, had the meeting, right? Then after that, went home, went to sleep for about another 3 hours, and then went to work for 12 again. He hit me up a week later. He was like, I like you, man. He was like, now what you did with the house hacking, he was like, that's cute. He was like, that's cute. That's nice. That's a little nice side hustle. Congratulations. He's like, you want to know about the big leagues? And I was like, you ain't gotta tell me twice. Look, I'll work for free. I'll go get fruit roll-ups, donuts, cold cuts. You heard me say this on Lead Attorneys. I was like, I'll do whatever I gotta do, bruv, to get an opportunity just to learn, right? I wasn't looking for no handouts. I wasn't looking for no cash rewards. I was like, I'll take the risk. Bump this. I took dumber risks trying to open up stupid businesses before. So I was like, look, I'll take this risk. And he got up with me later and he was like, oh, can you do this task for me? And it was basically find some property. And he was like, we're doing industrial, small bay warehouses. And I was like, what's the reason for that? And then he started explaining. And so I was like, oh, snaps. I was like, okay. And so he was just telling me like, look, you deal with residential. I deal with real estate, industrial. He's like, pandemic happens. Everybody paid me. And especially products and goods and services still need to be produced, right? So he's like, it don't matter if we go to a pandemic lockdown or if we go to war. He was like, our business is pumping. Industrial is the most important thing to a nation, even before all the renters and everything. And he's like, and there's no human rights on my property. He's like, look, if you don't pay me my rent, you got to get to stepping. But in a residential, you can't do that because people done gone on TV and was like, he tried to kick my baby out. And we, and then people are like, oh, that's sad. Dang, that landlord, he trying to kick out that baby and that family. But industrial doesn't work like that. You can't have no babies in no warehouse. They'd be like, hey, man, somebody arrest that mom. So net, it was an asset that had less issues and conflict. And so, I kind of ran some things for him and he liked it and I was successful. So then he was like, hey, look, you want to be an acquisition manager? Then I ran plays. I signed over, I think when I was working there, I did over $400 million in transactions and deals. So we were just sending out papers, trying to buy property all across Florida. I had some good techniques that I learned from YouTube. And man, it was a great time. So then they gave me an opportunity to invest in one of the vehicles. I did it. They 2X my money. Like in 12 months, I had an asset. It was over like 70,000 square feet in South Florida. I got a couple more now, but it's all through real estate syndication. And so they really run the play and operate it. I'm a passive investor. I just take my cash flow and wait for them to pay me back all my money. Plus some.
Damn.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. That's what real rich people do. They say like, hey, look, we want to own a 700, 800,000 square foot warehouse, right? They don't do it by themselves. They get a bunch of rich people together and they're like, hey, you put in $1 million, you put in 500,000, he put 200,000, and then they all put their money together and they own all this percentage and then they all get paid out and somebody operates the whole vehicle. And then we sell it to JP Morgan REIT. We sell it to pensions, institutional money and stuff like this. Man, and linking up with those guys, man, I'm telling you, it was crazy. I was on the phone with $4.5 billion pension funds. It was just ridiculous, man. They took me into a whole different galaxy.
But just best story I've heard in a while.